It is the middle of summer and these soles are all shedding. They're all halfway through popping out or all the way popping out or needing help popping out. I am about, I think this is like 6 weeks since the last trim cycle, and this bar is running into the sole. This hoof, I think, actually is the least of all the hooves that has a bunch to pop out. Like, a lot of this has popped out already on its own. And I want to get this. This is like overgrown bar here. I need to get under here. These nippers need to be WD-40'd, so excuse the squeaking. I'm going to come in this central sulcus, open it up all along here. One thing that's really important to remember when you're trimming up the frogs is that in the summer, when they get this hard, they're not soft. If you have any lumps or protrusions, that can feel like a rock in the hoof. If there's like one side is higher than the other, when it's as hard as this is, that's gonna make them feel uneven. It's gonna be uncomfortable. So you really wanna make sure everything's all smooth and open up, and there's no, like, if the whole frog has shed except for one part, and that part's gonna be hitting the ground more than the rest, you wanna trim that up. You can nip these little things with your bonsai nippers. There we go, I wanted to get that off. Help all this shed out. And I find the easiest place to cut in is right at the corner of the toe when it's summer and it's so hard. I'm just moving my nipper over about halfway. These are like 2-month-old nippers, so they're really sharp still. But depending on your strength and the sharpness and quality of your nippers, you might want to move the nipper. Whoa! Oh! You might want to move the nipper over less or more. I don't need to take a ton of height off these heels. I'm just going to do a little bit. I'm going to get the rest of that with my rasp. Come back at this toe. I'm going to bring this toe back on this horse. When this horse's hooves get long, they tend to start to underrun a little bit, so I'm really going to bring that toe farther back. This is a Mustang. He has super nice thick soles. Get this other heel down. This heel was not as high, so I'm just bringing it down with the rasp. Do this bevel. Bevel here at the quarter, all the way around, steeper at the toe. Bring this tip of the toe back. Got a little high spot right here. I just checked my balance. I'm gonna check it one more time. A little bit more. This is what I do when I have one spot that's a little bit high and I check it. I just rasp it a few times and then I check it again because I don't want to overdo it and then have it become a low spot. So you can always just keep checking until it's right. You can never check too much. Yes, it will take more time, but at least while you're getting confident and I'm getting comfortable, that's the best thing to do. All right, I'm gonna pull this foot forward. And there's not a lot to do. I'm actually just gonna come with the smooth side of my rasp. Finish rounding this toe all nice. There we go. Here we go. We are on the right hind now. That was just the right front that we did. This is a great example of what I'm talking about. This is super common, what you'll see in horses this time of year. Now, this is coming off. It was kind of coming off with my hoof pick. I'm just gonna help it with my nippers. I'm only doing that because, like I said before, this is a Mustang. He has really thick soles. This is my horse, actually. I've owned him for 20 years, and I've been trimming him for 6 years. So I know that this is not gonna make him sore because I know him really well. If you got a horse with thin soles, do not do this. This should just let it happen on its own. It might look a little ugly. It might pop out half first and then the other half. But you really don't want to do this until that sole underneath is strong enough. Until it's gotten its own sole callus. I like to do my central sulcuses with the rasp a lot at this time of year. Just open them up and coming into the bar here. There we go. The rest of this bar. There we go. Sometimes they'll flake off in chunks like this when they're just so hard. I'll come in with my bonsai nippers. There we go. If you have these really built up bars here, it's easier to trim them before the heels, because if you're trying to come with your nippers on these heels, which I'll probably just actually use my rasp because there's not a lot of height to take down, but if you're wanting to come with your nippers on the heels, that makes it a lot thicker of a piece of hoof to cut through when you have that bar material coming there. So if you can trim your bar down first, especially when the hooves are this hard, it's gonna make it so much easier to trim your heels. And this little flap of frog over the collateral groove, I'm gonna get it down a little bit, but I'm not worried about anything getting trapped under there right now. First, since these heels don't need a ton of work, I'm just gonna rasp. Nope. This is where I'm bracing with my knee here, and I'm holding with my hand to keep this hoof stable. There we go. Rasp down that heel. Now I'm gonna come with my nippers right to the back of that water line. Come around halfway with my nipper. Pretty much vertical here, slightly less than vertical. So this is where that steep bevel is gonna be. If I'm panting, it's the middle of summer. It's very hot. It's the evening, but it's still, I think, in the 90s. So excuse me, I am okay. There we go. Okay. All right. Smooth it all out. This is a hoof where I'm not really correcting anything. I'm just trimming it up. This is a really nice length of the hoof to be. It's not too long, where it's like so much to do, and it's not too short where you can't really use your nippers. And they're gonna grow at different paces, so I can't say, oh, have it to be this many weeks and your hoof's gonna look like this. Every horse is different. I would say on average, probably like 5 or 6 weeks, but some horses might be more, might be less. If you're an owner doing your own horses, I try to do my horses every 4 weeks, but usually that doesn't end up happening. It gets done around 5 or 6, but I aim for 4. Check my balance. All right, and I'm not gonna pull this foot forward. I did a nice bevel from underneath. and I'm not worried about it looking completely smooth on the outside. That hoof's all done. All right, coming on this left hind, similar situation here. Also, if you know your horse does have thick soles, whatever it is, if the horse can handle helping the sole shed out, if I were to trim him right now and not shed his sole, it would pop out and he would pretty much need another full trim in a week or two when it does. So I'm saving myself work too to do it like this now. And again, I'll probably take him out on a ride on the, dirt and gravel roads in the next few days, and I'll boot his front feet. I usually do. Not because his soles are thin, but because he lives in pasture and their hooves are only as hard as the ground they're on the most often. So just because they have super thick soles doesn't mean they can, you can ride them out over gravel, especially the day after a trim. But it just depends on, what you're doing for how long and how the road's gonna be. And, okay. This bar is stuck on there. There we go. Open up this collateral groove. Might be a little gunkiness trapped under there. Definitely can happen in the summer. Doesn't smell bad to me though. Perfect. All right, just this toe now. I'm gonna come back with my nippers. And it's really, this layer that's coming off is pretty thin. Sometimes it will be really thick chunks. And I will say, if it is those super thick chunks like that, you don't want to really pull those out with your nippers. I would more be only if they're coming out with the hoof pick. That means they're super loose. But if it's a really thick chunk of sole, you want to be, the thicker the piece of sole, the more careful you want to be. This really is quite a thin layer of sole, relatively. Quite a bit of toe here. There we go. When you're using these stands, I like to see how I'm standing on the stand here. I actually have both my feet on this stand. That keeps it way more stable. Everything you can do to stabilize the stand, the hoof, it's gonna make what you're doing a lot easier. Get these top of the bars like I was talking about before. Okay, check that balance. And I'm coming along both heels right now. Hey, easy. This rasp is like, I've probably trimmed about 12 horses with it and it already feels like it's starting to get dull. That's how hard the hooves are right now. Definitely don't expect your rasp to last as long in the summertime as it does in the winter. Smooth this right here. Just get this toe. Make sure my bevel's even all the way around. When you do the bevel like this, it can kind of create a tip at the toe, so that's why I like to come like a T on the hoof, and smooth it out. Here we go. Really, really want to clean out the hoof super well. Any little rocks are gonna really mess up your tools much more than a hoof will. So you really want to, all in this here, there can be little rocks trapped. I don't see any in this hoof, but that's just something really important to look for. Gonna want to open that up. I'm seeing some stuff in there. Okay. Like this lump of sole, that's gonna be painful. There's one lump sticking up. It's like a rock being stuck in there. This hoof is hard as rock right now. There we go. This frog, it does look like it's gonna shed soon, but it's not quite ready. Frogs are just like the sole. They shed and a new one builds up underneath and gets strong. So you don't want to trim it too early, just that tip was ready to come off. I want to open these collateral grooves, especially this side, because this has this gunk in there. I'm gonna do this with my nippers and then smooth the central sulcus with my rasp. Okay, there's a big piece. Sorry about the squeaky nippers. I will get those fixed before the next video for sure. There we go. I really want to get this piece that's pushing up against the frog here. There we go. It's on this side too. There we go. Coming on this central sulcus. Knock out this wall. It's funny, the wall is like the most hoof that you're removing, but I feel like it's one of the quicker parts to trim. Doing the frog and the sole and the bars always seems to take longer. This heel has some height to it, so I'm gonna opt to use my nipper, and this is that part. I want to get that trimmed first. So now I trimmed that piece of bar. Now it's, you see, it's less material to grab with my nippers. To do this heel, there we go. Okay. Again, bring this toe back just like I did the other front foot. And this is where he's had a persistent crack. It was gone, it came back, now it's almost gone again. It was from when he had an abscess like 2 years ago now. Get everything level and smooth. Check the balance here. Really want to come in the side. There's a little bit of a flare there, bring it in. I want these to match. You can see there's a flare here. This comes more like this. This protrudes out here a little bit. So I'm going to pull this foot forward, check my balance first. A little bit of a high spot there. I'm gonna do some from the front to get all this flare in. There's that flare. And there we go. I am using the rough side of my rasp to get a lot of material off, and I'll finish it out easy. Come on. Finish it out with the smooth side. There we go.